Hey guys, and welcome back. So I figured I'd just do a quick little video today. Life is crazy at the very moment. But I saw in a couple of the last videos where my soaps were promoted a couple of questions. And so I figured if these people had questions, although I think one of them was kind of sarcastic, but anyway, if there were questions out there, then probably there's a good chance that everybody has these questions. So I figured I would just throw a video together right quick to kind of address them, because maybe you don't see my comments right on the other channels. So with that, number one question I usually always get, and I can't figure out if it's sarcastic or not. I mean, I think some of them are genuine, but I think there's this one troll out there. But anyway, it's always, lie's not good for your skin, no thank you. Okay, secret's out of the bag. I make lye-based soap. So if you don't know how soap making works, probably shouldn't be commenting on whether lye is good for you or not. If you were to take this lye and you were to mix it up, and then you were to take that water solution that you made and rub it on your skin, well, no, that would not be good for your skin. You are correct. But a beautiful thing happens in soap making. So by the time you get to your final products, there is no lye left in them. So there are two types of lyes to make soap with, just like there's two different processes to make soap. Now, the lyes don't necessarily coordinate with the processes. So you have potassium hydroxide, which you use to make liquid soap, and the potassium hydroxide, actually what it does is it makes a soap paste, so it's almost like a squishy gel, so it never gets hard like this. And then you take that squishy gel, if you check out my liquid soap video, and then you dilute it down to make a beautiful Castile soap. So that's just for that lye, okay? Then you have sodium hydroxide. Now, sodium hydroxide is actually what you use to make bar soap. So with these bar soaps, you can now have two different processes that you can use. The majority of the soap out on the market is made with cold process. Do not deceive yourself. Just because it says cold process does not mean that it's cold to the touch. It means that you're not cooking it. So the cold process soap, high level, and of course there's a lot more technicalities around it, but ultimately what you're doing is you're mixing your oils and fats, and then you have your lye, and you gauge the temperatures on them, and then when you get to that sweet spot, you mix them together, and you use your immersion blender, or you can do old-fashioned and stir it if you want to. I mean, if you want, killer upper arms. Then you just, once it actually goes to trace, right, which is, literally means what you think. You could almost trace your name in it. Then you're going to pour it into your molds. And that cold process soap is where you see a lot of these beautiful soaps, where they get these beautiful shapes and designs and color swirls and just things that I can't do with my process. I don't have anything against cold process soaps. Actually know how to make them. I just don't like a 6 to 8 week cure time. And so what happens is you put these in these molds, and then you wait 24 to 48 hours, depending on your cut. Again, high level, a lot more technicalities behind it. But ultimately what you're doing is you're waiting for it to kind of form your bar. And again, these are hot process, so the cold process is different, but not by much. Then at the end of that, you cut it, right? And then you take that bar that you just cut, right, from your loaf, you take that and you put it on a shelf, or out of your molds, you put it on a shelf, and now at the minimum, you're going to let those cure for 6 to 8 weeks, depending. You can go as far as 12 if you want, right? You can actually let them cure until the end of time if you wanted to, but that's a very poor business model. So once they're done and in that curing process, guess what happens? Any lye residue left in the soap leaches out. That's why you're waiting for them to cure. One, your bar gets harder, so it'll last longer in your shower. And two, any lye residue will actually leach out of your soap. While it's called lye soap, there's no lye in it. We have to include lye because it's part of the process, right? I can't just say there was no lye and never there, because there was. Now, I use a salt-based lye, not an animal fat lye. So, again, the difference is, right, my alpha gal friends can use my body bars, but they can't use my old shampoo bars because they have tallow in them. What I do is the second process. Still the same lye, right? But what we're going to do with this one is we're going to put it in a crock pot or a stainless steel pot, and then you're going to cook it. And you're going to cook it for 45 minutes to an hour. You're going to want to make sure you stick around while you're cooking it because it does have a tendency sometimes to boil out. And I just kind of let it slow roll, watch it. If it starts to get to the top, I'll stir it back down. But what I'm doing in the hot process soap, aka cooked soap, is you cook the lye out. If you're going to do this process and have crock pots for it, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to designate those crock pots specifically for soap making, because once you use lye, the lye will actually seep into the porcelain, and we do not want to make lye pot roast. So ultimately what you're doing is you're going to cook that lye out. Now the cure time on a hot process soap versus a cold process soap is significantly different. Now technically, as soon as your soap has hardened in the mold and you've cut it, you could take it to the shower and use it immediately. You're not going to want to do that because your bar is not going to last very long, because there's still, like, this one was cut 3 days ago and there's still some softness to it, right? So you usually try to wait at the minimum a week, and they get really hard. And I'll weigh mine because I know exactly how much weight they should be when they're fully cured. And all that's happening is like that water moisture and stuff is kind of evaporating it out and making a nice hard bar. Ultimately, I could send them out next day if I wanted to. But again, poor business model, because if people are having to buy soap continuously, they don't see the value in it, right? I mean, soap is going to go away. You are using it, but everybody likes their soap to last longer than, a day. So yes and no. Lye is not good for your skin. I would not recommend mixing up a lye bath and soaking in it tonight, under no circumstances. But if you understand soap making, sapification, the curing process, and everything that goes with it, then you understand that the lye is no longer there by the time it's going on your skin. We should probably stick to things we know, or ask it in a question, and not in a just blatant, lie's not good for you. Well, yeah. Don't drink lye, don't bathe in lye. Thanks, we got that out there. The next comment that I usually get is, how long does soap last? So this depends on the process, right? If we go back over to liquid, right? So if you make the soap paste, if it is in a sealed container with no airflow, can last at a minimum of 2 years. Now, mind you, once you start opening it up and taking, parts out to dilute it, your clock starts ticking at that point. I've actually had that soap paste sit on my shelf for quite some time and still used it for personal use, and had absolutely no issue with it. So if I was going to do like long-term, as part of my long-term prep, I do have my soap paste that I have sitting on the shelf, so that should the world end tomorrow, I'll still have laundry soap and everything else. So that, like I said, that soap paste will last you right around, at a minimum, 2 years. Once you start to dilute it, and you're going to want to dilute it with a clean water, not a chlorinated water. I use distilled water. Rainwater, if filtered, is very nice too. Rainwater is going to give you a nice softness to it. But once you dilute it, you have probably about 18 months, depending on the essential oils that you put in it. That could change it too, and that's just because the essential oils themselves may have a shorter life period. So you've just got to know everything you're putting in your product to be able to judge it by that. And honestly, just write dates on stuff as you start playing on this, and when it turns, figure it out and be like, okay, well, when I use this essential oil, I only have 6 months. So again, that's just kind of like the easy part on that, right? So this, if it's in the paints, 2 years. If you've made it into a liquid, 18 months. If you're 12 to 18 months, if you're not adding essential oils to it, if you just do unscented. And then once you add your essential oils in, well, it's based on the essential oils and it's anybody's guess from there. Yes, I know there's going to be this whole subculture that's going to be like, essential oils are bad, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Fragrances are worse, and I like things to smell nice. So if you know your sources, understand where you're getting things from, and don't buy from off-brand markets that you don't know. Like a lot of my really nice essential oils come from a very small business in Arizona. She's organically certified. You know, I trust her. We have a business relationship. Like, know where you're getting your stuff, right? Don't go to anywhere.com and buy your essential oils. But under no condition use fragrances. They're horrible for women. Okay. Probably horrible for men too, but I only speak for women. So, how long do your bar soaps last? Well, eternity, pretty much. And the only thing that's going to happen is they're going to get harder and harder and harder. So like this one, so when you first cut them, you have to kind of be careful with them. I mean, they're not like infants, but you have to, if you drop one, they'll almost dent like up into here, right? Because they're still soft, right? They're still curing. Like I said, this one's 3 days old, so she's starting to get some girth to her. She's just about ready to go out the door. Like I said, I weigh them. I just constantly weigh them to see where we are moisture-wise. That's why you'll see approximately when you see the ounces and stuff on there, because you could get it and it actually probably could suck a little bit more moisture out, because honestly, as you go, they're going to get lighter and lighter and lighter and lighter. And so if you bought my bar a year ago and you bought one today, you put them side by side and be like, wow, she was really jipping us back then. No. What's happening is all of the moisture that is in these bars continuously leaches out. So do the essential oils. The worst that ultimately happens a year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, just depending on the essential oils you put in them, is you just have an unscented soap. They will eventually leach out. This one is a year old. I made this one right before the Homestead event. It's actually one of my discontinued. You ever wonder what soap I use in my personal favorite? The discontinued ones in my cabinet, because I've got quite a few of them in there as we go through seasonal things. This one was chocolate and smoke, and it still smells like chocolate and smoke. Now, is it as strong as it was a year ago? No, it is not. So these essential oils will continue to leach out, but honestly, that's a pretty hard bar of soap now. And so if you were to take it, and put it into your shower and use it, or bathtub, she's still going to lather the same. She's still going to do everything the same, but guess what? She's going to last for quite some time, because this bar is so hard that it's going to take a while for it to go away. Not very many companies, especially home-based, you're going to be able to go a year out, because one, the problem is for a lot of the essential oils and the lighter fragrances, or the lighter scents of the essential oils, they'll just leach out and we would just be mailing out unscented soap. And while it would last forever, well, where's the fun in unscented soap unless you have a reason to use unscented soap? So if you were to bulk buy, so let's say you were like, you know what, I'm going to learn how to make soap, but I want to have this reserve of soap in case, it all hits the fan, but I just know that I can be clean. I mean, honestly, a lot of these soaps, you can actually even shave down and turn into laundry soap. I mean, you can get very versatile with your soap. The dish soap especially, you can actually grind that down. You can also use it as a stain stick too, so it's multi-purpose. Because there's no oil residue left in that because it's all gone. But honestly, I mean, you could surplus as much soap as you wanted to, and it's never going to go bad, right? Soap doesn't lose its soapiness. It's just going to get harder and harder and harder and harder. And the worst thing that you're going to do is ultimately any essential oils you put in would, like I said, leach out. And so you would just have a big shelf of, unscented soap. But if you buy a cabinet like I actually have a metal cabinet in there, and it's got wire racks in it, and so that's kind of my cure cabinets. if you were to store it in something like that where it wasn't exposed to a lot of dust and air and stuff like that, you're probably going to retain, and that's probably why these still smell as good as they do, is because they're kind of locked in solitary confinement. And now, as hard as they are, right? I mean, like I said, I mean, that's pretty hard. But I could probably actually at this point take them and put them inside of a container, and there's not a lot of moisture left, so I wouldn't have to worry about it. Soap is living and breathing. It will actually weep too in certain instances. If it gets too humid in the house, you can actually watch your soap kind of weep a little bit. But yeah, does it go bad? No. The worst that's going to happen is it'll all be unscented, but it'll be pretty unscented, so it works. So like I said, those are the two most popular questions that I do get. If you have any other questions, again, I'm not going to step you through lye calculators. I'm not going to step you through all that type of stuff. I mean, a lot of these things are things that once you get the basis down with like some of the recipes I showed you in my earlier videos, you will start to understand and you will start to play with it. And you can make your own soaps, your own soap paste, and really kind of have fun with it. I still kind of play with stuff. I mean, I actually took alcohol and a bottle of alcohol, and I boiled the alcohol out, and I used the residue to make a soap the other day, right? Because, I mean, it's all about staying creative, right? I mean, what if you make alcohol and it's not really worth drinking, but you still need to use it for something? I mean, sure, you can use it for antiseptics and stuff, but who knows, right? Got to get creative. Got to keep ourselves entertained. Before I go, though, I did want to let you know, these shirts actually have now come out. I'm going to put a link below. I know a lot of you guys, when Rivka got it for me last year for my birthday, you were asking about it, but it says, I am here to feed sheep, not entertain goats. Not about entertaining the goats. So that has now actually been picked up by a wonderful company, Sanctified Supply. And they have a lot of great shirts out there. The Prepared Homestead shirts are out there. Of course, Sanctify has their own shirts. A lot of other channels, American Homestead, all of those are out there. Great shirts, great company, and I'm blessed enough to be able to consider Jerry and Lucia some of my dearest friends. So if you want to support a small business, a faith-based business, then they're a great place to start. Just wonderful people, adorable kids. So I'm going to put the link below for you guys to go check them out. Like I said, not just my shirts over there. There's a whole bunch of other shirts. They have a monthly membership you can sign up, because if you're like me, you're always ruining your shirts. It's kind of like my hobby. I mean, this one has a huge stain on it over here from oils. But yeah, go check them out. They actually have a YouTube channel too, if you don't know about it. Adorable family, great people. So definitely, if you want to buy faith-based shirts, support them. So I thank you guys for stopping by. Hope you enjoyed this, and have a great day.